To get a copy of the data, you go to this address up here, bit.ly/8sci1121. Now, I have a partial set of data that I'm going to show you how to organize it. You'll start by separating the salt and the sugar over here by going to this little tiny triangle at the top of column B. And I'm going to go all the way down here to sort the whole sheet from low to high. So salt goes first and then sugar. And as you go through your data, you got to make sure and take out any letters in here, because the spreadsheet cannot make a graph with letters, only numbers. So I first want to make a graph of the salt data. So I'm going to highlight this information here, and I'm going to go to the Insert Chart button right over here, or on the Insert menu. It's going to make a couple of suggestions. The one you want is this one here. It's called a scatter plot. Now I look right over here at my preview, and I see with 20 grams of salt, the water boiled at 81.2 degrees. Now I know that cannot be the case. So I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to find that low value, and I'm going to delete that. That is an outlier. So I highlight the data again, and I go back to make my chart. This time the data is a little more tightly clustered, and we're going to see how to customize this at the Customization tab right up here. The title should be long and elaborate and give the reader lots of information. The other titles along the axes are the horizontal titles. Down here, the horizontal one is going to be the independent variable, and that's going to be the amount of salt or sugar, and that's going to be measured in grams. And then you'll switch it right here to the left vertical. That's your dependent variable, and that's going to be the boiling point of water, and the units are degrees Celsius. Option Shift 8 is how you get the degree symbol. Now the part we care the most about is what type of pattern are we seeing here, what type of correlation it's called. So we are going to put in what's called a trend line, or a line of best fit. Now we're going to start trying a linear best fit line, and you can see this faint blue line right there is showing us that the closest line you can make that connects all of those points runs right along here. Now to show you whether it's a good fit or a weak fit, we check this box to put an R-squared value. That's a fancy statistical way of saying whether this is a tight connection between the amount of salt and the boiling point, or kind of a loose connection. A score of 0.246 means that it's on the low side. 0 would be awful, 1.0 would be a perfect correlation. I'm going to make my line a little bit thicker, and I'm going to try one other type of trend line. I'm going to try an exponential trend line. And we don't get much of a difference here because there's not a nice smooth curve pattern to this. The R-squared value goes down a teeny tiny bit. So it's best to say that this is a linear correlation here. There's a slightly increasing trend that we can follow, and this trend line will help us predict the boiling point of water within a few degrees. So we're going to insert that chart. It's mostly complete, but I'll be looking for a lot more details in the titles.